they opened up a little small track in Danville called the Dixie Speedway, and they wanted to get some black drivers, and they thought they didn't know who to approach, so they went to the police department to find out what black guys had speeding records and things like that. So they told them they want somebody to drive a race car to see me. So that's how I started racing.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is former NASCAR driver Bill Lester.
I'm NASCAR driver Natalie Decker.
NASCAR's Chief Hype Officer Mamba Smith.
And you're listening to Victory Lane.
Victory Lane.
Victory Lane Vibes. Let's go.
376, Antron Brown is the top fuel champion.
About Rajat Fruit, he's never led the field to green on a start or a restart, Michael. What a moment for him right now. His 30th truck start came up from the Arkham and Ard series. Just praying for it. There it is. Rajat Caruth wins it at Las Vegas. First career win, gets it done.
You stayed in the game, and it was just one step, one punch, one round at a time. And my guys had me a great stop, and we just executed. So there's more to come for sure.
His final time through 3 and 4. He's gonna do it. Bubba Wallace wins at Kansas.
What they gonna say now, baby? Let's go!
Championship record is equals. Lewis Hamilton wins the Turkish Grand Prix and is a 7-time champion of the world.
Get in there, Lewis. What a way to do it, mate. What a way to win your 7th world title.
All right. Daniel, you stay? Or you bouncing?
No, I'm here. Well, at least for the open, anyway.
Yeah. All right. Welcome to another episode of Victory Lane Vibes. We are your hostesses with the mostesses. I, the host, Jared, forgot to introduce myself last week. That's embarrassing. But it's me, it's Art, it's Carl, it's Bonte, it's Kiana. Danny's here for a quick second. We are here for some major breaking news. Due to unforeseen circumstances, the NASCAR show is being shut down. We're all transitioning to chicanery. Danny has welcomed us into her home with open arms.
Yes.
And we're going to turn the NASCAR show into a train podcast.
I'm going to talk about trains for an hour.
Yeah.
I can do that for months on end, buddy. Let me tell you something.
We're gonna talk about trains and IndyCar, and I just ordered my Team Penske sweatshirt, so I got to see if I can find some cheap tickets to the 500 because we in there front center. You know what I'm saying? Push the pass, baby. Hashtag push the pass.
Hey, so real quick, because I'm not from Iowa, so I don't watch IndyCar, and Danny's in here. So did whoever won the IndyCar race? Did the results of the IndyCar race, were those indicative of whatever it takes to piss off? Because that's all I care about is making her look bad.
Who won, Danny?
It was Scott McLaughlin.
Okay, so is that the one she took her dress off for? Or no.
I know what you're talking about. I just
I gotta chill. She said it on Twitter. She said she told somebody.
I saw that shit too.
Yeah, I know what Carl's talking about. I just don't remember who it was.
Oh God. Anyway,
if you gave me 500 guesses to the next out of Carl's mouth, I would not have predicted that.
She said, no, he took his shoes off of Paul Tracy.
Oh my God, man!
All right, we got to get started. I'm sorry, I'm feeling great. Let's do this.
Good God! All right. Well, yeah, y'all catch us on chicanery next week. We out here. No, there's no next week. It's qualifying and practice.
It's only chicanery.
Well, yeah.
You're rolling 18 deep to the next recording.
Wait, what happened next week? Oh, because the show is okay.
We're bringing back Let's Start a Dialogue because I have several dialogues about Indianapolis 500 qualifying and how it shouldn't take 3 weeks to do it. But
I love that. They deserve that, man. Let them have it.
We'll save this discourse for next week.
Yeah, that's fine.
We got to talk about
it
stock
next
cars.
week. There you go.
All right. Well, Miles the Monster show did have several meals this week between the two series. We'll start with yesterday. Going back, Brian Truex stands on business, goes back to back, shows why he deserves to have the full-time car over a certain other driver for JGR, giving us an exciting finish between Carson and Quapple. and wins a very heartfelt, heartwarming race in Dover, Delaware. Art, Xfinity, talk about it. Your boy got a top 3. Are you happy?
Yeah, I'm real happy. I would say this race was kind of weird, but not in a bad sense, but just in a very, very unique sense. You had cars catching on fire and you had cars covered in water from rain in the same race. I feel like that's a rarity. I really thought they were gonna red flag it and we weren't gonna get back going. So I'd kind of resigned myself to that fate. And then I look and they start pacing the field again. And so I was very surprised. We always say we got to give NASCAR credit where it's due. They hung out for however it was, 20 minutes or whatever the red flag was. And they got them racing again. So I was really happy to see that. Great Xfinity race. It was the best race at Dover all weekend. Hit the button. Xfinity puts out a better product. A lot of comers and goers. The only negative for me was probably just seeing SVG struggle a little bit this week, which was kind of expected, right? Dover's a really tricky, technical kind of track. There's not a track I can think of that's really comparative to it, given that it's concrete, the elevation changes, the turns, the corners. And I know this is his first time there in person, so I was a little disappointed to see him struggle, but I'm not surprised by it. I'm not disappointed in him. Just I wish they could have ran a little bit better. But Sam had a great one. Austin Hill looked like he was going to win it, and then it seemed like he got dumped, and Allgaier seemed like he was going to win it, and then shenanigans were happening on the pace laps, and I was like, "Oh, Allgaier, what are you doing?" But it was a thrilling race. 3 wide passes for the lead, late 3 wide passes for the lead, period. Like that. That's great content. I love to see that. So it was a really interesting race. I would give this race a solid, I'm gonna say a 9 out of 10 for what I was expecting from Dover. That's a track that I don't necessarily expect that much excitement from. And Xfinity race really over delivered for me, so I'm grateful to that. There were a couple wrecks, there were a couple of folks driving it over their heads, which again you come to expect from an Xfinity race, but all in all, really, really good racing. And I watched the whole thing. I didn't fall asleep, foreshadowing. I didn't get bored, foreshadowing. So, that's all I can really ask for from a race. So great weekend from Xfinity for me.
Yeah, the elements definitely they definitely showed up and showed out for the Xfinity race. I know Kiana follows Allgaier close. What do you say about the Xfinity race? Okay, what you got?
Well, I mean, I was going for Ryan Truex this week, so that was my, because I've not made it a secret that I love him. So, I had a feeling he could go back to back. I just wanted to see, but I feel like he kind of already showed, especially last. Oh my God, I mean, he was flying, and he almost had it, but I think this week he was really just like locked in. He knows that track. He knows how to win it, and he did. And I thought that was great. So, yeah, I mean, that was really cool to watch. Carson also did a great job. I was really, really stoked to see him out there. And like I said on Friday, whenever that was, I was like, I don't know why people are acting like they're surprised that he's out there flying, because that was not a surprise at all. And he proved that he belongs out there. And I really do think he has a good shot of, like, he needs to be there. Like, I can see it now. He doesn't need to be in trucks. Put him in an Xfinity car. Like, he's ready. So yeah, I'm excited to see what Carson does, in the next couple years, because I feel like he's going to be one of those people that really enters that conversation. But I think a lot of other people realize that now, because they were kind of like, brushing him off, like, oh yeah, he's just in Junior's car, blah, blah. No, this boy knows wheel. Okay. Like, don't play with, if there's anyone on that track that you just did not need to play with, it was him. So yeah, I think he did great. I think that was an awesome race to watch. And yeah, I mean, it was really good to watch. I will say Ryan Sieg, my God, the fire that I mean, my jaw dropped. Like, I paused the TV and everything because I was just like, okay. It did look, I know Joey said like it looked like a gas line or something, and that was kind of what I was thinking, just because of the way it was like coming out of the hood and where the fire was coming from. But the way he just like stumbled out of the car and he's like winded and he's coughing, like that was scary. And I was just like, okay. And then Blaine Perkins had pretty much the same issue. He had like an electrical fire a few laps later. So I don't know what was up with their team's cars, but that's like a serious issue. Like I'm hoping they figure that out, because that's very, very scary that, two cars pretty much from the same team would have that issue. Like that's kind of crazy almost at the same time. Like it was literally only, I don't know, I want to say 5 to 10 minutes later that happened. Like it was pretty close. So yeah, I thought that was pretty crazy. But yeah, I mean, it was a good race. Glad Ryan's okay. Ryan Sieg, and obviously Ryan Truex is okay because he won. But the whole like Jesse Love conversation was pretty interesting too. I have my own thoughts on that, but yeah, I mean it's racing. Like it's gonna happen. They're both young. They're gonna figure that out. But yeah, I mean it was a great race. I really enjoyed it, and I actually rewatched it. And I haven't been rewatching most of these races. Like I rewatched that one because it was pretty good.
There was passing in the Xfinity race. Bonte, did you watch the Xfinity race?
Yeah, I did.
What were your thoughts?
No, I did not.
Way better than Cup. Hella. Excuse me.
Oh no, keep going.
Hella happy for Ryan Truex. Like I said, the man deserves a ride. Man, got talent. Austin Hill's still crying like a little bitch, but yeah. So other than that, hella good racing towards the young cats. Carson Quaffle, definitely a good racer, definitely a champion in the future. Probably like Art said, I give it like a 9 out of 10. Hell, race was so much fun to watch. Definitely enjoyed it. Sheldon, I'm gonna need you to win, my boy. Take it forever.
It's coming. I
think
it's
coming. Close, Creed. Can't close.
No,
hey,
it's coming.
It's coming.
I'm not the only one that thinks that that's absolutely crazy, right? Like that's crazy. 9 second place finishes. Yep. I know Carl, we talked about it last week. I gave him some grace and the starts that he had before he got his first win. But it's not up or shut up time, I would think. If you got another opportunity, man, you were this close like you were in Martinsville. Like, come on, dog. Cash the check.
Yeah, but again, you don't get 9 second place finishes, by just not being good. Look, when it happens, it'll happen, man. I think often about there are a number of guys. Justin Allgaier was a guy for a long time that, when his Penske days anyway, like was there, but just not all the way there. Just guys sometimes take a while to turn that corner, Martin Truex Jr., just whatever. I wouldn't put much stock into it. It would be one thing if he was finishing like 10th every week in JGR equipment. And, like I said, that would be a separate conversation, but he's fine. Everything will be fine. I'm not worried about it. Worst case scenario, he's another Daniel Hemrick. Daniel ain't a bad guy. So, it is what it is. So I'm not too worried about that. Yeah, the Gazoo car won. That was great. It's a lovely scheme, although it's really basic. I'm happy for Ryan, man. It's cool the last couple of years you've seen guys, with John Hunter and now with Ryan that have, really been racing their hearts out to try to compete and earn a full-time, job and prospect and things like that. And, that's kind of a good story that kind of gets lost in the mix when you have all these guys at JGR that, have all this money behind them, albeit through, partners they already have or family money or just whatever, So, Yeah, great to see Ryan win. I wish it could have been a Truex sweep again. I was ready to get the credit card out to order the cars if that was the case. It wasn't, unfortunately. But yeah, as far as the Xfinity race goes, I mean, every week except for Atlanta, it's cleared the Cup race. It was kind of funny. People were dogpiling Deegan for oh god, what's that one old boy's name? I forgot it already. Clay. No, wait a minute. Dawson Clam. No, wait, hold on. You help me out here. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
I don't.
Did you say Dawson Clam?
Dawson Clam, yeah, Dawson Clam. Who's that old boy that Haley Deegan got into it with?
Oh God!
Nobody's gonna help me. All right, whatever. The hell with
I'm
it.
just stuck on Dawson Clam.
The hell with it, man. I can't remember
Dawson
his name.
Clam.
Hell, anyway, somebody at home will look it up and they'll figure out what I'm talking about.
I just said his name.
What's his name? Bonte?
Lost. I can't even say it because of you. Lawless Allen.
Lawless. That wasn't Lawless Allen, you nincompoop. Anyway, bro.
Oh my God.
Nincompoop. That's the only.
It wasn't Lawless Allen. It was somebody else. So either way, it was funny. It was funny that there's that wreck with JJ Yeley and Deegan and that other guy, and I can't remember his name now for the life of me. Dawson Cram. There we go. And whatever. And then he was like, actually, my onboard data proves that it wasn't my fault. It was Deegan. And his onboard data was honestly just as damning as the allegations prior to that, because it was like, well, why are you racing Haley Deegan that hard 3 to 4 laps into an Xfinity race? Anyway, no, that was cool. Carson's scheme was cool. That's about all I cared about that. I forgot that Travis Guapel was his dad. Well, I didn't forget that. For a minute, I was like, yeah, whatever happened to Travis Guapel? Why did he just suddenly disappear? And I was like, oh, yeah, that. So, anyway, yeah, Xfinity race is cool.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, what's up?
So this is I just want to circle back to Sheldon for a second. And this is not this is not a gotcha question. This is not like trying to start shit.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I just had to preface that.
Yeah.
So okay, we've agreed he's got 8 or 9 second place finishes. And like I'm not saying he's dog food, right? Like I totally think he deserves to be where he's at. He's obviously a talented guy.
Yeah, 100%.
But how many finishes or seasons can he have like he's currently had and like past had until you as a fan say, okay, this is not going to be a guy who is going to be like a contender in terms of like multiple wins and a championship contender? Because like these playoff systems have shown us that, like, you can't point your way in anymore. Like,
the rebuttal to that though is Daniel Hemrick.
Yeah, I mean,
that happened one time.
That happened one time, and
that happened one time, and what?
Got all the way there though.
How many seasons of playoffs have we had though? Like, so yes, you can say like, yes, the odds are. Is it possible to go that far and get a championship without winning? But like the likelihood of it is very low.
Right.
So my question is like, at what point are you? I guess the short of it is, at what point are you concerned to where you say, okay, this guy is good, but he does not have that 1% that a driver needs to have, like the killer instincts. The money's on the table and you take it. Like, what point would you be concerned?
Yeah, because I mean, the inverse of that is I think Austin Hill has above that 1%, right? And he puts in situations that make us all hate him because he's at that 101. Look, I mean, there's variables there, right? New team, new situation. I'm sure the way they approach races is different. I don't know the schematics behind it, but I would say if we got to I know he'll make the playoffs, but if they got to the playoffs this year without a win, after his seasons at RCR, I would kind of start to question a little bit, like, what is it going to take at that point? And if he got to the end of the season without one, I would entertain the conversation of, well, okay, maybe, he's just maybe it's just going to take some dust. I don't know. But I don't know, man. It's so hard to win these things. And I say that as, the Carson in his first start almost won. I guess that was his first start. I don't know if that was or not. Man, I don't know. Like I said, I just think there are a myriad of things that or he's having to learn and get in the way of. But again, he's not finishing teams. He's not tearing equipment up. X, Y, and Z.
Right.
I mean, so it's just it would take a lot for me to write him off and be like he's never going to be there. Do I think that he's going to progress to where he's a Cup talent? Nah, probably not. I think he has the makings of an Xfinity lifer. To quote The Sopranos, he didn't have the making of a varsity athlete. But I think he'll be fine. He'll turn the corner. He'll win races, and whatever opportunities come his way down the line are deserved. So yeah, I mean, it's not it's not like a Riley Herbst situation. Now that is somebody that is worthy of that conversation, even with a win, because his rebuttal to why he ditched Deegan at Talladega pissed me off even more than him ditching Deegan at Talladega. So he had 3 times fast, ditching Deegan at Dega. But yeah, that's my take on the Xfinity race. So
now, before we find out how you flatten a pancake, did you want to add some insight in regards to the these JTG grumblings, Carl?
Well, wait a minute. So did Art talk about the Xfinity race?
Yeah, I went first.
Yes.
Okay, all right. I wasn't listening. Yeah. So let me put on the serious face here. So yeah. So for those who don't know, maybe you haven't paid attention. It actually is very big news. But from what I'm reading and what I'm understanding, Todd and Jody Snickers, Gesundheit, whatever, however you say that name.
Oh my God.
However you say that name. In 20 odd years, however long they've had a Cup team, I've not been able to say
Jesus Christ.
You spell it then, smart ass. You say it.
Oh
spell it, mother.
Yeah,
Don't start.
No.
Welcome to the Victory Lane Vibes spelling bee.
You gotta chill.
Gesector, that's how you say it. Gesector, that's how you say it. Anyway, so Todd Gesector was this big marketing exec with an advertising firm or whatever. That's how the relationship with Kroger and JTG got started. He was a very integral part of that. And they've had a happy relationship since I want to say 2007 maybe in the Cup Series, in a little bit before that in Busch, and so they've built that program up since then. Well, the word on the street is right now that Todd and Jody are 2/4 of the ownership model over at JTG, and they are taking Kroger with them, and they are going to Gibbs. And it's very rare you ever see ownership changes in silly season. You see driver changes, not ownership changes. So it sounds like what would happen is they would take the Kroger partnership, which is worth, I'm sure, $10 million a year, $15 million a year. Because I think I read somewhere that JTG was one of the few Cup teams that was making a profit every year. They would take that and go over to Gibbs, and I'm sure that money would allow Todd and them to buy into JGR to be probably part of a co-owner deal. It's really big news. I'm really surprised it didn't make much more landfall than it did when it happened, because you have a legacy team in Gibbs that is finally starting to look like it may not be JGR forever. You have a huge paying sponsor going over there that maybe that'll be somebody that helps the 11 out, or maybe it's somebody that helps the 20 and Xfinity out, or just whatever. That's a big deal. You have the potential of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. not being in a Cup ride next year. And then you also have 2 other owners of this 4-owner single car team that are going to be left holding the bag. Because quite frankly, and we can talk about this, I don't think that 47 is around next year. This comes to fruition. The smart thing would be to sell that charter to, I don't know, man, 2311 or Trackhouse for, cool $40 million, split it 4 ways and going about your business, So I don't know. I mean, where does Ricky Stenhouse Jr. go from here? I mean, does the 47 maybe switch to Toyota and try to stay afloat? I mean, what happens exactly? I mean, I think it's a really big story that needs to be talked about.
Yeah, I'll go. Sorry, I'll go first. Just out of curiosity on that, I would like to think that 2311 would definitely be in the business of buying a charter. Denny's made it clear that he wants to get them up to be a 4-team charter at some point. They got airspeed there, and we've talked about it on here. Like they're not building all that land and all that facility for 2 cars. So the only way you can get to become a 4-car team is become a 3-car team. So they make a lot of sense in terms of being interested in buying, because you look at like Hendricks can't do it, Gibbs can't do it. Penske, I don't think they want to. They've never seemed like they've been interested in growing to a 4-car team, at least publicly that I'm aware of.
I mean,
so like that makes a lot of sense to me. Huh?
I said technically they have 4 with the Wood Brothers Alliance.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. So that would make sense to me, but I would imagine, I don't see necessarily why they would want to bring Ricky over. Like, now I admit that I'm not a huge fan of Ricky. He's a guy that feels a bit like a field filler to me. Like, he can be a threat at super speedways to maybe get a win, and he's a threat everywhere else to get a caution or a wreck. So I just don't see him being a fit necessarily, and this is strictly opinion, but I don't see him being a fit at 2311. What I'd be more interested to be is
absolutely not.
Yeah, who would they get to come in and fill it?
Nope.
So is that the point where Denny makes the jump? Like, I don't know his contract situation, of course, but like, because he said he would love to race for his own team one day, and that's where he'd like to retire. So like that might be the way to get him over there, or do they fill it with someone else from that Toyota pipeline? Which seems the more likely scenario. I could see him wanting to finish at 2311, but realistically driving for Gibbs for his whole career. Because of the timing and how hard it is to get charters, right? Like they seem to be the most precious commodity right now in motorsports, at least in NASCAR. So that's my prediction. And for Ricky, I could see somebody getting him for an Xfinity ride. Like, I don't think he's one of those guys that should be out of racing where like he doesn't have any talent at all. So I could see them going there. I'd be interested to see how Kroger feels about Ricky. Do they follow him if he went to Xfinity, or do they stay with the charter, with the 47 charter? Do they go to the new team?
Yeah, so from what I read, Kroger is an integral part of this whole move. Like I think the whole deal only works if they're able to bring Kroger's money to Gibbs, and I think they're leveraging that into the Geschechers buying into JGR. I mean, I think a great place for Ricky to be, because he has, I think Nas as a partner would be the 21 car. If he stayed in Cup, I think he would do pretty good in the 21. Anything would be better than the 21 right now. So I think, but I don't see anywhere else he could go in Cup. Maybe to Spire, maybe whenever Hocevar transfers over. I don't, they tear up just as much equipment, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, if Zane leaves, then he can get a spot. Just saying.
Zane Smith, if you need a
Spire got a pipeline, so all of them need to be. None of them should be comfortable because they have a pipeline. So I'm just saying, one of them spots is Rogers, but
they can just that's what I was gonna say. They can 2311 can just get that chart and then go and put Raj and I don't know what they called it. What the 67? That was the number they had a lot. Get him in the 67 car, and we can have that be our 3 cars, and we roll. Like, I'm fine with that. That's an ideal timeline for me personally.
I need Kyle Larson to realize that he's too good for NASCAR. He goes to IndyCar, he wins a title, he gets a super license, and he goes to Red Bull, thus leaving the 5 open for Raj. and I live happily ever after in my own little world.
You'd rather there's another question for you. We're 2 for 2. You'd rather Raj be in the 5 versus a 2311?
100%.
Well, see, I think it's more likely that he would go there, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Honestly.
Yeah.
I feel like it's likely that he will end up somewhere over there. Like,
I think it's
just feels like that's what's going to happen.
I know why you're asking that, Art, and my answer to that is because my dad asked me a similar question about Raj, and I feel like the level of representation that Raj would bring to the Cup Series, especially like an organic story that he's able to go at his own pace and all that kind of stuff. I feel like it'd be great at Hendrick. It'd be a great fit. I feel like it's time for them to come to the 21st century. I would love him over there. I understand it's
And Jeff loves him.
2311 is
Like,
like the hip.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's the hip
Jeff is
trendy
his biggest
team
fan
makes
right
fun
now.
of me, but yeah, take the leap of faith, bring the kid up. I mean, him and Sanchez need to go to Cup somewhere. I don't know, but yeah, I would love to see him in the 48 out of the 5 when it all pans out. I think that would be, and then for him to also like be like a Jimmy Johnson fan and a Hendrick fan as a kid, self-fulfilling prophecy.
Fair.
All
I
the
do
cool
think
drivers
that
ain't got to be at 23. Most of them.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off. I was gonna say, I do agree. I think if that scenario were to happen, I think the 5 is your ideal landing spot for any driver. I think that's the team that week in, week out is consistently putting super fast cars. They've got one of the best pit crews. Like they are the team that does not shoot themselves in the foot.
100%.
Almost every week, right? I think right when they had the loose wheel a couple weeks ago, we were all in shock and awe, right? Because like they just don't mess up to that level. Like they're not going to necessarily win every week, but they will never take themselves out of contention. And if you're a young driver, I feel like that's kind of like in football, that's like your running game, right? Like it's just a big asset. It's not necessarily going to save your quarterback, your rookie quarterback, but like they're going to help take off a lot of that load off you. So I mean, I'm not at all against him going to the 5. I was just curious about that. I want him in a good seat. Like that's the one.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Worry I have for Raj,
sure.
and it's not necessarily a worry, but like my concern for him is I just don't want him to be in that 1-star NASCAR seat where it's like, hey, so you're given 20th place talent, and we're gonna give you a 30th place car. Like make it work.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, and I've said before that like 4-car teams are so hard for new talent because you've got the majority of the team are all veterans. They're all doing their own thing. Hendrick is split up with 2 different shops, and like how do you learn from that, right? I talked about like Eric Jones and Daniel Suarez, at Gibbs before. I've talked about that. I don't know if on the show before, but it's got to be hard. And you've got 3 other guys that have had Cup careers that are almost as long as you've been alive, and you're trying to learn from them. Those guys are in their prime, so trying to win races and championships. Also, Chad Knaus walked, so Cliff Daniels could run. He is really good at what he does. I feel like Fox glazes Alan Gustafson and Rudy Fugle way more than they glaze Cliff Daniels, who is deserving of it. Also, I don't necessarily think the 5 is going to be vacant anytime soon. I'm sure that if Kyle Larson decided for whatever reason that he wanted to go to something else, that he would have no argument from Rick. He's already done more in 4 years than most guys will do in their career at a Hendrick seat. Yeah, but I would like to see him at Hendrick in a situation that he can be successful. It's just that team, and Art, you can attest to this. I mean, there's always been one car that, regardless of the circumstances, has been, odd man out.
Yep.
And I don't know what the deal with that is, but it just seems like in every organization besides early 2000s Roush, 4 bigger than 3 cars, the 4th car is the odd man out. There's always one guy, so wherever it's been at. So I don't know. But anyway.
Well, hey there, and welcome to Thinking About Buying, the #1 and only retail store that exists entirely in your subconscious. Thinking About Buying is your personal place for all the things you're, thinking about buying. Sometimes there's things you want to buy but haven't even thought about, and that's where I come in. People buy stuff all the time, right? Pickup trucks, horses, condos in Barbados. None of those things are more important than our favorite item here at TAB, and that's t-shirts. And not just any t-shirts, we're talking t-shirts from our great friends at Home Field Apparel. Now, if you don't know these folks, maybe you haven't thought about them, wink wink, before, you're going to love them. You like sports? Well, they love sports. They have printed authentic designs from over 80 collegiate schools, and now they're doing motorsports lines as well. And what a better way to kick off the month of May from an Indianapolis-based apparel company than doing a line for the Indy 500 that drops just a few short days away on May 3rd. And the best part about ordering from them is it's just as easy as thinking about ordering from them. You can go to homefieldapparel.com or their app, look at these designs, find one that you like, one that suits you the best, and order it just like that. And hey, be sure to use our code VLV24 at checkout for 15% off your first order. That's homefieldapparel.com and VLV24. Now, if you don't mind, it's time for my lunch break. Don't tell Art.
Anywho, to today's shenanigans, the air blocking NASCAR Twitter discourse 400, sponsored by Worth at Dover, Delaware, where Denny delivered one more time in the new Mavis game, gets his third win of the year. Seems like he a championship favorite for me. I don't know. He look kind of good right now.
That illegal ass car.
That car legally.
Ain't
Let
no
him cook.
Ain't no way that scheme just cut off at the nose like that by choice, by design.
Let him
Hey,
cook.
it is what it is.
If you figure
man.
it out, me first.
Yeah, no, I'm just screwing around. I just thought that scheme was kind of weird how they did that, and people like to talk about Hendrick all the time, like putting unnecessary black in places or whatever to hide stuff, and it was like, well, what if we're
That
doing
black
it with
exalted
white?
scheme.
Yeah. So it is what it is, man.
Whomever wants to go first, let's talk about it.
Yeah, I'll talk about it. That's fine. I don't care. Pretty straightforward, man. Like I said, Xfinity good, cut bad. I don't want to doom discuss here and have the same conversation every week. I mean, the same problems have been apparent. We're at race 8 this year? 7? What was this? Race 7 or 8?
I think we're like at 10 or 11.
Are we at 10 or 11? Whatever. Since we showed up to the Clash at LA till now, the same problems have been very much so apparent. One thing, and I'll say this for Lights Too Bright, but one thing that really just appalled me at Fox, and I was like, are you really doing this right now? 7 laps ago, it's a shootout for the win, and they decided to roll a highlight clip real quick, as if like the on-track action is just not good enough to show. Now the Cup race is all right. I mean, you could. It was reminiscent of old Dover in some ways. I feel like you really could not pass unless there was a tire differential. You just couldn't get on the outside of guys, and so I don't know, man. It's kind of hard to determine if it was really good or bad. But I mean, I think for the winner to be decided pretty much on pit road, because it swung both ways for Larson, and then for the 11, kind of indicative that maybe it could have been better. But anyway, I thought it was a good race for the most part. Some unfortunate things happened, but there were some moments where I was like, this is better than what we've had. So, it's like a 6.5 out of 10, I guess. 7. I won't say 7 because the production quality just knocks down 2 points automatically. And then the next year another one, but that's pretty much it, except for the 2311 corner, the segment or whatever. So I'll save I'll save the rest of it for that, I guess.
Some ketchup. Bonte, how'd your Yahoo card do today?
This race was dog. Not because of my boys crash. It's just you can't pass on here and another than so package sucks. A good reason is that Denny won. It's my boy, but he just can't pass. And NASCAR need to do something about because this is unacceptable. Two back-to-back races where this has been nothing but dog respectfully. But we had Kansas next week, so things will get better. More good action-packed racing. Yeah, and more bull. That's cupped over for you.
You realize we have to go back and edit every time you use your potty mouth.
You will be okay. Next person.
Oh, all right. So first of all, you need to relax. As someone who doesn't ever edit, you need to calm yourself down because that takes time out of my life, my sleep.
Hey, Art.
Calm yourself.
Hey, Art. You'll be
Take
all right.
a deep breath. Count to 5.
1, 5.
And get over it. On mute. So with that being said, I'll go next. Before I lose my composure, Bonte's potty mouth, as Jared put it. I mean, I agree. Like I promised myself, and I promised in the group text that I would not go on another rant this week. I'm going to be better because I feel like I was a sourpuss the last 2 weeks. I would say that I agree with everyone who's badmouthed this car up to this point. I think the issue is that for me, the races have just become very predictable. It might have been the Dega race or the week before Dega, and I said the only way you can win now is either on a restart or on pit road. Like that's the only two ways you can win a race at this one, because clean air means just so much. And I know, there's people that are obtuse online that are saying, well, dirty air has been there forever. And it's like, yeah, okay, but like, yeah, it was, but you had the ability to fight through it. You could get within 2/10 and pass a guy without being demonstratively better or them messing up. Like you could just drive up to them and eventually pass them or get them loose. With this car, it's so stout to the ground. Like you can't really get someone loose unless you hit them. That's really not getting them loose, it's just hitting them. So yeah, this was a race that I was a little bit concerned about going into it. I did fall asleep in it. So like I was just not entertained by it. Yeah. And the people that I watch the race with every week, they were bored. They said multiple times, it feels like nothing's happening. It feels like we're just running around. It felt like the stereotype that they give NASCAR where like they just go around in circles. Like that's what this race felt like, a lot of it for me. I actually liked Dover. I like the track itself because it's so unique. The fact that it is concrete and all those other things, and that it's very challenging for the drivers. I'm always interested in that. But when you're driving a tank that can't be moved, it's just really hard to see any mistakes be made. And until the car just gets changed, we're just gonna have to endure this and just hope for our favorites and the drivers that we like to do well and for it to be entertaining. I agree with Jared. I think Denny might be my number one pick if I had to put money on somebody for a championship right now. Like that team just seems to be clicking in all cylinders. From pit road to car setups to crew chief calls to driver, like they are just really knocking the ball out of the park in every asset or facet. And it's great to see. Like I want him to get this championship. I want him to get to 60 wins. I know we talk a lot about Toyota on here, but I enjoy Denny as a driver and a personality in the sport. So I enjoyed having characters like him. I thought him and Kyle battling at the end was entertaining, was better than a lot of the race. It was interesting to see Kyle Busch's quote about this car being a much better defensive tool than it was an offensive tool really come to life. He spoke truth to power with that quote, watching those last 15 laps, where Danny just had to block him, just take away his line, use the lap cars to block a lane, and keep away. So Kyle had a great car. Like we saw that he was probably the only car that could drive up through the field because he started pretty far back. I forget why, but he drove up through the field, whereas nobody else could really move. The 11, the 19 were strong, but they were up front most of the day. But then, you get a pit stop, cycle out. He just couldn't get past him at the end. So they'll be all right, to quote Bonte. The 5, like we said, they'll be back next week and be a threat probably. But I'm happy for the winner. All the drivers that I really wanted to win, though, didn't. The drivers I bet on this week crashed or ran poorly. My favorite driver got crashed into and wrecked out. So for me, any race that I fall asleep in is just not a good race. So I give it like a 3 out of 10. I love Miles as a mascot, though. So give me more Miles.
So you mentioned where pit stops win races. When we were at Richmond, I think they clocked out 8-6. I think was the final pit stop for Denny to get out front and win. The last pit stop for Denny at Dover was 8-7. Checkered flags and the sticker.
Yep.
Kiana.
Toyota won. Hose mad. No, I'm kidding.
Hose mad. Hose mad. Hose mad. Hose mad.
I don't know. Today was just so frustrating, and I mean, God, aside from IndyCar, I don't even like I'm already stressed out, and then I had to go into this race, and it's just like I don't know. I don't know what to do with Cup right now, because it's like every week I get my hopes up, and every week I just like get nothing out of it. It's some of my drivers are doing great, some are doing not so great, and I know some of it is just the car sucks. but some of it is also just really bad luck. So it's, you know, when you have both of those together, it's just a really bad combination. And I don't know, there's a lot not going great right now. So it sucks. But you know, it was an okay race. I'm not going to say it's a great race. I don't understand the people that are going on all these rants about, oh, look at the attendance, everything was great. You know, let's just be real. The attendance was high because they only have one race. So that's, you know, the only race that a lot of these people will get to go to. So that kind of sucks. I feel bad for the people who were stuck in traffic for hours, just trying to get to the track, because the attendance was so crazy, which is great. I mean, it's, you know, it's a good problem to have, but also a bad problem to have. Because it seemed like some people were just really getting frustrated with how, you know, packed it was. And maybe they weren't ready to handle that. I don't know, but it just kind of seemed like the track was overwhelmed. There was like this crazy line for water, and then they were like running out of water and like all that. I mean, it's just, there was a lot of stuff going on. So like, you know, aside from the race, like, you know, the track itself was like having a crazy day too. So it was a crazy day. But I'm kind of glad I didn't go. I was going to go to this race and I decided not to. For obvious reasons that probably would have just, I don't know. I don't know what I would have done if I had to see that in person, but yeah, just it was a frustrating day and it sucks. I'm happy for Denny. I'm pretty sure we said at the beginning of the season that he was going to be the one to watch, just from the Netflix doc. Like, you can tell he's locked in and he's just kind of like, you know, not fed up, but he's like, he's here, and you can tell mentally he's just very like ready. And it does feel like this is going to be the year for him. So I hope it is. I really do. I hope it is, because I would love to see him finally get that moment and just finally be able to stop these people who, you know, just constantly remind him he doesn't have a championship, even though he is one of the best drivers that we have right now. You know, it'll be nice to see him finally get that moment. So I hope that's what we're leading up to, because that would at least save these like really terrible race days that we've had. You know, if I get to the end and Denny gets a championship out of it, I will be happy. But I really do feel like he's going to be one of the ones to watch, you know, championship for. Like, I feel like he's going to be there. So that at least gives me some hope. But, you know, overall, it's kind of still a frustrating start to the season. So we'll see.
Yeah, you know, like Dennis said last week, you know, he sacrificed himself last week for Tyler to win. I feel like Bubba sacrifices himself again this week to let old boss man win, which means foreshadowing.
Hold on. Oh, sorry.
If everybody is, you know, I'm gonna die so you can win, the Bubba winning next week, right?
Yeah,
I was gonna say the rotation has to continue, right?
Yeah, it's his turn.
What do you call that board? The Ouija board? It just makes sense, right?
We'll mess with that around here.
Go ahead,
right. But no, I was gonna say, as far as the Cup race, it reminds me, as far as the results, like, it reminds me of yesterday morning. I went to Chick-fil-A for breakfast. I got a biscuit, and my favorite part of the Chick-fil-A breakfast is the hash browns, not the biscuit. They're great. And I got home only to find out that I had fries. I was pretty pissed off about that. I was like, why would you give me fries for breakfast?
I'm sorry to cut you off, Carl. It's Sunday. Yeah. Wait, did you get your plate today? Because
yesterday.
No, I got it yesterday.
My fault.
Boy, he was finna go in on me. He was like, no.
I definitely was. Go ahead.
So I got home. I was pissed off about it. I still ate them, though. I was talking to my dad later, and I was like, you know, these MFers at Chick-fil-A that gave me French fries for breakfast, waffle fries for breakfast, not hash browns. And he says, well, either way, you still got a potato. And shout out Pops on that one, because despite Bubba getting wrecked, at least Denny Hamlin beat Kyle Larson. So I guess it's a wash. I guess it was still a potato one way or the other. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. I feel like,
you know, in wrestling, they call a potato when someone hits you for real and they mess you up. And that's how I felt after this race. I got a potato too, and it was a entertainment black eye for me.
Yeah.
So with that, we'll move to 2311 corner. There was ketchup without fries. Tyler Reddick gets P11. Bubba and that beautiful Warthog got ruined. Finished 32nd. Blame still yet to be determined. I just want to shout out 2311's pit crews. Shout out Bubba's pit crew. Didn't lose a spot on pit road all day. Gained a spot. Had momentum. It was about to be an entertaining finish for sure. He was going to finish somewhere in the top 10. I couldn't put a number as to where, but we're going to wrap up the day with more stage points. But you can't do 3 ride at Dover. We saw it yesterday in the Xfinity race. And I'd be damned if we can see the same thing today. So
shout out to all the iRacers. I think you can that have also learned that lesson painfully this week. Not I, but other people. Also, real quick before we go any further, just want to give a shout out real quick to SVG, to Shane Van Gisbergen. His mother passed while he was here in the States racing. I know it's been hard for him. And, our deepest condolences to him and obviously his fans. I mean, we're all fans of SVG. And I know personally losing a mother at any point is always a hard thing. So our hearts, thoughts, and prayers are with him right now while he's going through all that. So anyway.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anybody want to add anything else to 2311 corner?
Yeah, I'll go first, I guess. Yeah, for Tyler, I'm happy that he was able to get a good result. I think coming off of a win, it's real easy to have a bit of an emotional letdown, to kind of exhale and maybe take a week off just because you've got that playoff spot basically locked up. Dover's a really tough track. It'd be real easy for that team to just say, oh, we're just going to, walk through and not give it our all. But they were running, top 10, top 15 for most of the day and were able to get a good finish out of it and survive. Bubba was just a victim of circumstance again in the 2 weeks in a row. It's just frustrating. I don't really care whose fault it is at the end of the day, just like last week's, blame doesn't really change the result. They're not going to go back and give you extra points in the standings because it was your teammate's fault or your manufacturer's fault, or it was some rando who's driving over their head's fault. It doesn't really matter. So I was just frustrated for that. It seemed like they had, like an 8th to 15th place car today, and they were able to get, I think, 1 stage point at the end of stage 2, if I remember. So that was a small nugget to take away as a positive, I guess. But it's just frustrating. Like we said, Dover's really crowded, and it just gets really tight, and it's hard to avoid once you start getting into the mess. So that was frustrating. Hopefully, looking ahead at Kansas, I think anyone listening to us and everyone on this recording, we know the importance of Kansas for this race team and for the organization at large, rather. So I'm fully expecting them to be on their A+ game. I just hope they don't try too hard. You see where both the team and the driver of the 23 in the past have tried too hard. And it's like, hey, 10 is plenty. 15 is too much, right? Just give me 10 out of 10 effort, not 15 out of 10. And I don't think that'll happen this week just because they've seemed really locked in. And, Jared's point, they're having better pit stops, having better performances, week in, week out at tracks that they've struggled with. It's just been things out of their control, and this is a race where now they can have a bit more of that control. It's fast, it's spread out, it's momentum based. All of those are things that play to Bubba's strengths. So I'm looking forward very much to Kansas. If he gets spun out by or wrecked by a back marker, I think I'm gonna get in my car and drive to Charlotte with a lead pipe in my backseat. But I just need them to have something positive to hope for, maybe contend for a win. I'm never expecting it, but it sure would be nice. A win would hit different right now, so that's what I'm hoping for.
I can go next because I kind of gave a faux thing. I mean, like I said, I was pleasantly surprised with both cars. I hate that neither one of them got a top 10. I feel like that'd have been a really good look. But yeah, I mean, the 45 qualified and ran pretty well. Earlier on, I thought maybe they had some race winning pace. it'd have been cool to see the McDonald's scheme win, the ketchup scheme win, and that just this track, man. I don't know what it was, but it just there was something that only a couple of cars had that they could really make it work, and everybody else faded pretty bad with the day. But and Bubba, like I said, didn't practice great, didn't qualify great, which was kind of disheartening because they've unloaded with really good pace. I mean, really since the playoffs last year. I mean, they a long stretch of races, and so I was like, man, I'm starting 15th, 16th, and I don't know, and then just gradually just did what he had to do. I talk about all the time. He's done the work, right? I don't know that 2021 Bubba Wallace, 2022 Bubba Wallace would have been able to start, 16th with a car that probably was not that great setup, whatever the case may be, and just trundled along till they reached the top 10 or whatever. I don't know. I'd know for sure this team wouldn't have been able to do it, like the pit crew and all that stuff. So the improvements they've all made have all been great. And I was like, we got into the top 10 at the end, just run it out. 10th, 9th, 8th will be a win and go home. Like they're like the 5 and the 11, the 24 at one point were the 19 were a class above the rest. Like until the 19 got hurt, it was his race to lose. And then the end happened. And, like I said, it's easy to cast blame, and some of it was jokingly, right? But it just is frustrating because it's just like, what do you have to do to not be in these situations? I mean, how in the world, somebody said like if they'd run like 4 laps longer, they pitted, they would have been in that situation. But, man, it's frustrating. And I wish we could get some of the 45, the 23 could get some of the 45s luck at some point because I don't know. But, it was no fault of anybody really. The 71 was just kind of there. I mean, if for anything, I don't think if it's anybody's fault, I feel like maybe they should have lined the cars up better. I don't know why Zane was in that situation to begin with, to be running with lead lap cars there. I guess, was he the first car a lap down, I guess? Is that what that was?
No, he was multiple.
No. Yeah. See, I don't understand because from the restart, from what I saw, like he was –
a lot of cars was like lap down with the cars.
Oh.
Yeah, which is like weird.
Yeah.
It's all because they had took the wave around.
Yeah,
pretty much
yeah,
the whole thing, it got screwed, bro.
Yeah. It was a screwy restart, and like I said, Tyler, I don't have a slideshow this week. I don't have enough time, but Tyler took to the bottom. Which you do, you're restarting with, I don't know, they had 30 something odd laps to go or whatever. You got to make hay while the sun's shining. I get that. He took to the bottom. 71's in the middle, 23 is up top trying to make hay too, and 71 is nowhere to go. People are moving around. The groove at Dover is very narrow. Things happen quick, and he just gets into the 23, and 23 gets into some other people on his way back down. Unfortunate, maybe with experience, Zane maybe thinks a little bit more about that situation. But it is just a racing deal. There was no malice. I don't think anybody just hooked. In the moment, it was like, man, this, you better get your CDL, buddy, but yeah, it just sucks, man. He just needs luck, and I just really wish Bubba would have the luck, dude. Like, oh, that's frustrating. But aside from that, I mean, happy Tyler came up with a good finish. Wish he could have been, one deal better to keep that top 10 streak for them going. But yeah, just happy with the way it came out. Happy with the way the 23 executed. Just wish it had a better result. And I wish Fox wasn't so fixated on getting reactions out of people with their camera work. That's a story for a different day because, again, just like our friend Phil Spain, a friend of the show, said last year about Coda last year, it was very intentionally done, and I don't like that. I don't the social media posts or camera work, it's very intentional. I don't like, he's not there for show, and you're just adding to the problem, So anyway, it's whatever. But yeah, that's my take on it. So.
Well, back to back DNS, it really sucks. It really does. Like Carl said, he was able to get into the top 10, actually get stage points. All that matters. Just wasn't people BS towards the end, but he took he took a top 15 car to top 10. He's been he's been really consistent lately a lot. Hopefully, Kansas has been really good to us, despite the fall race last year. That hurts. But from that, Kansas has been good to us. I'm excited for Kansas. I'm wondering what scheme he got this week. Anyways, not the point. The point is that I'm excited for Kansas. Hate that. Yeah, back-to-back DNS, but hopefully that could all change. Hopefully that could all change soon. My boy have a good finish or possibly a win. Happy for Tyler to get up there. He don't have a top 10, but yeah.
Kiana.
I mean, there's really not much I can say at this point. It's just it is what it is. It's definitely a frustrating couple of weeks, and I think Bubba's handling it well, and he still sounds good, and he sounds like he's optimistic. He understands what happened. Like, yeah, it sucks, but he can bounce back, and I feel like with it being Kansas, I feel like that's going to give him a little bit of a boost mentally. So that's what I'm hoping. But yeah, I mean, it's a frustrating week. But I'm really not worried about him because, again, like, the team has still shown a really ridiculously good amount of improvement. And again, comparing to where we were a year ago, this is still astronomically better. So I'm really not worried. I'm more sad for him just because I know that he's had two really good chances, with these races that, just got ruined by something stupid. But I mean, that's the sport, and that's the risk that you take every time you get on the track. And he knows that. The whole team knows that. And so there's really not much we can do other than just hope, for better on the next race. But I don't think it's worth like dwelling on all of it because, again, it's Kansas coming up and they cook at Kansas. So I'm just ready to focus on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Agreed.
Yeah, if it's one thing I don't have to worry about at 2311 in airspeed, it's their 1.5-mile program. Never got to worry about that.
Yeah, and I think the month of May is going to be good to Bubba. I think a little worried about the All-Star race just because he was great there last year, but this package at short tracks, I'm not crazy about it. But we got
to get him in there.
Yeah, well, I think hands down, I don't think
I think he'll be fine. My opinion,
yeah, I think he'll transfer,
I hope so.
especially after
Yeah.
Martinsville and Richmond. The performances there, I don't think that'll be a problem. But you just never know, and that's the problem. You with this car, you never know, and not to sound like art for a second, but the biggest issue I have with this car is that I know he's looking crazy. The biggest problem I have with this car is that no previous performance is indicative of what to expect the next time around, especially at everywhere that's not an intermediate track or whatever. So there's just no telling. But you've got Charlotte, Darlington. I'm pretty confident at Kansas. What else we got going on in May?
600.
The 600. I guess that's it. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So. Yeah, but
and he cooked it last year at the 600.
Yeah, especially towards the year prior to that, and the year prior to that, So and even in 2020, he was knocking on. Running in the top 10, and I remember I was listening to the scanner that race, and like right before the hub went out, they were like posting like lap times that were like faster than like I think they're like the 4th to 6th fastest on track in the 43. So, like I said, Charlotte, Kansas, Indy, Nashville are some races I have circled along with the play track. So I think the month of May will be good to him. Just got to have the luck. That's it. That's all there is to it. That's the final piece of the puzzle. Everything else is there, so, yeah.
If the month of May be like last year, like the good luck during that month, it could bring us to this year. Oh, he'll cook. Oh, another question is before I let you finish, Carl.
Yeah, what's up, buddy?
So for the All-Star race, is it like 2 cars, the first 3 cars, or the first 2 cars in each heat races transfer to the main event, right?
Oh hell, you need to phone a friend on that, buddy, because I forgot. Did any of y'all read the format for this year?
I just saw the tire discourse.
Yeah,
It's like I feel like it just devolved into like chaotic discussion, and it was like no longer about the format. Everyone was just like
tires.
Yeah.
Oh hell! I mean, that's look.
I mean, it's gonna be this year.
Yeah,
but
look.
yeah.
If it's a step forward, if it's a step forward in figuring out how to make this car better, I'm all for that.
It's the top two. Sorry to cut you
Yeah,
off.
it's the top two for what? 3 segments or 1 segment or just the whole thing?
I think it's just for the top 2 finish in the Open.
In the Open, okay. I thought
And then the fan vote gets in.
And the
So
fan
that's
vote. Who y'all think will get the fan vote?
Chase Elliott.
No,
he won.
He won.
Either Noah Gregson or
gotta be Noah.
Noah.
Unfortunately, Noah. But hope his B again. But the votes be on bull. But hey, I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, I think it'll
Please
be.
leave it at that and quit cussing up a storm.
Nah, he'd be all right. Let's see.
Well, if that's 2311 corner, you know what's next.
Well, I got something for this.
It's time for Lights Too Bright.
Lights Too Bright goes to Art, and I'm playing.
No.
Come on,
Hey,
really
out the gate.
Out the show. That's great. Why don't you go ahead and sign off for us, bud? Go ahead and
no. Let me start.
What's up?
Lights Too Bright. I'm gonna have to Xfinity. Don't make that face.
Scratching my face?
No, I'm talking to Art.
Go, man.
You go. My Lights Too Bright for Saturday goes to Austin Hill. He choked, of course. It's always his fault.
I mean, honestly, could we just leave it at that? Like, that's it. Cut.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's it.
And then for Sunday, I'm gonna have to go with Willie B.
Is it Pit Crew?
Yeah.
Literally,
Pit Crew literally cost him at least like a top
I
three.
would have tore into them over that deal. I mean, you can't predict that kind of stuff, but still, it is very frustrating.
Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah.
Carl.
Yeah, look, man, very straightforward. My Life's Too Bright goes to whoever is in that all blacked out NASCAR trailer I see rolling down the highway, the production trailer for Fox. Because, there's a myriad of reasons. There's myriad of reasons why. But this is the second week in a row that I've noticed it. Now, this has happened more than this, where a wreck has happened and they have just, for whatever reason, like only shown one angle of it. They could not talk to it at all. Mike Joy, for whatever reason, who is not part of the production team exactly, couldn't figure out who he was talking to. Mike Joy had some slip-ups over the course of the day. He couldn't get names right. And we worried about me sloshing words because I had a little bit of a beverage. I don't know what Mike's got going on up there, but that's a little bit concerning. But the fact that people were just like, okay, well, this is the one angle of the wreck that we got, and it looks like a white car hooked 23. So let me go and tweet about it because that's the information that I've been given. And then post-race, people who are the Twitter detectives who do a great job go and find the actual footage and like, no, this is actually what happened. So people on their cell phones and computers at home who are not getting paid anything provide better insight to a crash than a company that's got a multi-million billion-dollar TV deal. Are you kidding me? I wanted to discuss. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I should sue them for making me look like an ass because here I go on Twitter talk, thanks Smith, Colorado, and then I'm looking at and I see 3 different angles and I'm like, oh, actually, this is nobody's fault. I was not privy to this information. It's like that video. It's like that the video of Trump where he finds out RBG died and he's like,
wow. I didn't know that. I just, you're telling me now for the first time.
Every time. But anyway, that's my Life's Too Bright, man. Like, it's not hard, bro. God, it is not hard to do this. Y'all did it excellent for 20 plus years. 2001, 2021, fantastic. And then like the last 3 years, it's been.
Something had to change, right? Like someone in the truck had to leave or something, or like someone got promoted. I don't know.
That was my life too bright, by the way.
All right.
I'm so mad. I wish people could have seen me losing my mess because that's what I wanted to say. That's why you always go first, kids. You set the bar. You don't have to left and learn there. If you got a school presentation out there, go first. Get it out the way. I really don't have anyone that's lights too bright, honestly, that hasn't already been said. I mean, the Cup Series, there were some mistakes, but none of them really felt lights too bright. Can I do a reverse lights too bright where instead of it's someone who wilted on this spotlight, can I give a shout out to the pit crew guy in the ARCA race that used the pit sign and like taped it to the car to make a fender?
Engineering.
Like brother, you are on it, bro. Like you, I don't know what's the opposite of lights too bright, but like you had the ultimate polarized sunglasses on your face. Like you are A+ student in my book. Like that was so smart.
Fire.
And there aren't too many things in NASCAR that I've seen like the last 2 years that has shocked me, and they've been good. But that was one of them where I was like, oh my gosh, that's so smart. Like, hey, you got it. Just use it and like tape the mess out of it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know I'm breaking the rules, but I'm going to give a ultraviolet rays sunglasses to that pit crew member because Buddy was operating on that 8D chest that like I don't know nothing about because I would have never, ever thought to do that.
I think that's fair, though. I feel like if we're able to give it, if it's too bright, I think we should be able to give the opposite and like highlight someone who actually made a good decision this week.
Right.
There are not a lot of good decisions made.
Right? Yeah.
I was gonna say like we could do lights too bright, but I like a little. Why y'all make that face, Jared?
Because you already went. You had your time in the sun.
No, it's not that. I have a question. Can y'all do like an MVP as well? Of each week,
maybe.
Okay,
that's a good idea.
I gotta ask the producers.
You are the producer, you know it.
No, he's the host. That's
ain't me. If we're giving out golden Sundays, I guess I just want to give a shout out to NASCAR for having the forethought of building a whole huge production studio, knowing that Fox was going to be absolute trash this year. Potentially ruining your viewership and fan base. Shout out to Andrew, aka Beso488. Every week he comes with the fire onboard cameras, apparently angles that Fox themselves can't get from NASCAR.com. So just appreciate people, fans of the sport doing what they got to do to make sure everybody stays informed. Shout out Taylor Kitchen too. There was some discourse this morning about a really big story that was missed. So shout out to all the little people in NASCAR media like us, making it do what it do to get you the news that you care about, and not children and on national television. So
preach. Too many kids, man.
Too many damn kids.
Man, my dog is losing his damn mind right now.
All right. Anyway,
I don't know if y'all can hear that or not.
Moving on.
We couldn't until you brought it up.
Wait a minute.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
You about to get lights too bright, bro. Anyway,
do not turn into Bonte.
Whatever.
Don't start.
Yeah, Bonte got my back.
They're about to tag team on you. Better watch out,
man. See,
I mean, they would probably get more viewers if they would just focus on cute dogs. But there's like no cute dogs at races, so that's why they just do the kids. I don't know. They look for cute moments to show for like B-roll.
You know what a cute moment would be? Me seeing a wide angle of the damn race I'm sitting on my couch watching. That would be really cute to me.
And also, what was up with the shade of them showing the Byron fans leaving, bro? Because now all Twitter's clowning.
That's what I was
clowning them folks. God,
you took mine.
I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
Go ahead.
No, because like that was crazy to be like, I get it, and I mean, I've been at races where Bubba got into something and ruined the race. I'm not gonna get up and leave though. I'm still gonna sit there and watch the rest of the race that I paid for. Like, what are y'all doing? It's just like everybody leaving because Byron like what?
Took his ball and went home.
I mean,
come on, honey, we going to the car.
8K on the Summer Jam screen, leaving the race.
Crazy.
That's crazy to me. Like, I'm sorry.
Crazy.
With everything that I have had to go through with this driver, like, and if I paid that money to travel there,
gas.
That's my God. I mean, that's what a 7-hour drive for me. Like, it's crazy.
I will
y'all gonna
say
leave?
that like I'm all for putting highlights on the fans, but I agree with you 100%. Like, I've never been to a sporting event that I left before it was over. Like,
I never leave early.
0%. But
I have a good story for that too.
Okay,
Go
but
ahead.
like,
I have a good story.
I also don't like the broadcast putting the highlight on fans that they know they're gonna get dogpiled on.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Absolutely.
That's where I kind of draw the line. Because like, it's one thing if
Yeah.
you're like watching the race and you're like your hands are on your head, you're like, oh no, or like you're cheering or whatever. But like, you know, these people are gonna get bad mouthed online. And you know what? Like, even if I personally wouldn't do it, I'm not gonna say it's wrong, right? Like, they're not harassing anyone. Like, they just chose to leave early. And even if I wouldn't do it, but like, I just don't like it when you're gonna, because these people paid to go to a race. They didn't pay to be a meme on TV like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of hate that.
I'm just not gonna leave and waste my time because my driver crashed.
100%.
That makes zero sense.
Yeah,
If
absolutely. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
You good? I'm about to say, if I spend my hard-earned money just go to this race just because my driver crashed, I'm still gonna have a good time at the end of the day.
Yeah. Like, I'm just gonna crack open a drink at that point because
Precisely.
Day's done.
Yeah, going to a race, even if you live remotely close, is no easy or cheap venture. Sorry, but like it. Well, hey, you know, whatever. I'm feeling good, but it's no cheap or easy venture. And like, yeah, I mean, you know, the last cup race I went to, like, Bubba was like, "Oh, he did all right," and then, you know, like, he plowed into Kevin Harvick under the rain, and I was like, "Okay, well, let's see what else is gonna happen here." You know, and like,
yeah, I mean, you don't know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, exactly, man. Like I said, no, there's no rhyme or reason for that. And like, look, I don't want to shame them, but it's like, you know, we do kind of joke about Fairweather Hendrick fans a little
And we also
bit.
don't know where they were going. I mean, it's very possible they were just going to get some food or like, you know,
you already
going to the
sit, like,
bathroom. Yes,
you know,
100%.
like,
because the best time to go to get food is actually right after your driver wrecked out, right? Because you're like, okay, well, there's no reason for me to stick around. I might as well.
Whatever thing is left from now is just an added bonus. Yeah, I felt like that was a very poor choice, and
that was
kind of crazy. Taking to Twitter, and, you know, like there was like one situation where it was warranted, where that one guy was flipping off Joey Logano last year, and even then, I don't even know. I think that guy has a job in NASCAR now too, which is crazy. But yeah, but like, yeah, that's just a bad look. You can't be a company like Fox and not be like conscious of, like, you know, just like how easy it is for people to find somebody online, or like,
and like starting narratives about
absolutely.
That's why I kind of had to defend like Joey Logano girl from Atlanta, because like I saw people saying really crazy stuff about her, and I'm like, no, she's literally like the sweetest person ever. Like, we had a good little chat. She was laughing like that she was on the broadcast, that we were both on the broadcast, and like, you know, and people were saying stuff. I'm like, no, like, she's been cool this whole time. Now, the guy that was in front of me in Martinsville that kept turning around, gloating in my face because Joey was in front of Bubba, and then Joey got, you know, wrecked or whatever. And, you know, then Bubba was like, you know, just chilling. And he had to like apologize to me after, you know, after the race when I was walking out. And, you know, like, people like that, like, okay, you kind of deserve the smoke after that. But, you know, innocent people who literally have no idea they're on camera, like, that's kind of crazy.
Moving over to our fantasy league, it was a throwaway week for me. So Danny won. Danny had Alex Bowman, Martin Truex, Tyler Reddick, and Daniel Suarez in her lineup, which means in the standings, she's first now. So she has a 5-point lead over JT, who has a math 36-point lead over myself. So if you haven't joined, it's free. Victory Lane Vibes, NASCAR Fantasy Live. We're giving away a big old prize at the end. I don't know what it's going to be, but just know.
How do I join?
If you paid attention to our social channels. I have posted the link 5 times.
Well,
or most
work.
recently as yesterday.
So,
it doesn't matter. You have
Oh,
a search
man.
function. You can go to
Vontae be off on
VLV
some other things,
Podcast,
and that's okay.
on X.
What?
You have 2 phones. Do something with your life. For those of you who don't follow us on social, VO Vibes Podcast on X. Find the link that Vontae is now searching for. Join our fantasy league, win some prizes. Appreciate you.
We're gonna make it a good prize pack now. We're gonna make it worth your time. We promise.
Yeah. We can make it really worth it.
Speaking of, are we about to wrap? Can I say something?
We're close. It's almost open mic time.
All right,
I just got intro open mic.
Go ahead. My fault. I apologize.
Nah, you good. So open mic. Are any topics of discussion, any things, any hot takes we missed?
Well, I have an interesting update. Shout out to Jeff Gluck, because by the time y'all hear this, I think I will have spoken with him. We had a really cool chat that will be out sometime this week. So
the Gluckinator.
Yeah.
So does that mean you voted yes on the poll?
Is that a requirement to get an interview with Joe?
No.
Look, he says I need screenshots of your last 8 poll votes. Go ahead and
My
send
last
them to me real quick.
Yeah.
You're like, shit, I can't change it. Jeff, I'm sorry. I didn't like Darlington too from last year. I'm sorry.
Nah, he's really cool. But he basically we talked about the meme, for those of you who don't know, that I created the "It's Gonna Be May" meme with Justin Timberlake, and just kind of like related it back to my NASCAR fandom. And a lot of people in NASCAR don't know that was me that made that meme, so it should be pretty funny watching people figure that out whenever he posts the link to the interview. So I'm excited. Yeah, we had a good little chat.
And to sprinkle that on, if you've gotten to this point of the show, you may know what it's going to be called. Come on, dog. Like, you're not even part of the joke, fam.
I don't care.
Can I go?
Anyway, anybody else? Arthur, sure. Take the mic. Mute him.
Please. I'll take us home. So I have some news. I don't have a date. Don't have a date yet, but I know some of y'all been asking. The VLV merch is coming soonish, very soonish. I can't give you an exact date yet because I don't want to promise something to you and then I can't deliver. But just know the cooking is happening in the kitchen. We've got some stuff coming very, very shortly. Just bear with us. I promise it's on the way. And
I'm going to preface that we're not on CP time. We're on quality control time.
Yes, like the actual.
It's 2 separate things.
Yeah, it's like just to give some behind the scenes, like the main issue holding us up right now from going live, like we could just push the button and go live right now, but we really want to make sure that it's not some crappy, cotton shirt that's going to turn your skin red and give you a rash. Like we want it to actually be good quality. So we are literally waiting to get samples in the mail to make sure like it's legit and that it's worth your time and your money. So as soon as we get those, if everything looks good, we will literally push the button the same day, turn it on, and we will share it on the socials. So I know y'all have been asking for it. It's on the way. I promise. Just bear with us a little bit longer.
Hey, Todd, I know you leaving.
Trust the art.
You're allegedly leaving Ricky Stenhouse at the end of the year. Come sponsor us. We need some detergent.
They
for this
already
merch.
left, I thought.
Oh,
anyway.
One
I thought they were over it. Well, I think Todd was wanting to deal for the dirt race.
Oh.
So
they're in play.
Yes, dude. Hell, I don't know, man. Yeah, Procter & Gamble owns a whole bunch of stuff. I found out.
Colgate.
Yeah, well, he owns a lot of stuff. I found this week. Anyway, please, Monte.
What? Oh, go ahead.
What you? Okay, all right, perfect. Okay, cool. No, as far as the open mic goes, this wasn't worth spilled milk, but I do want to say, if you are driving a race car and then said race car leaves the desired angle of driving, and you don't hit anything, that is a save. There is no gray area on that.
Thank you.
I jokingly like said like a couple times on the pod, like
like talk about like iRacing experience, all that kind of stuff. But then I saw some people like that were like really like taking that into account, saying like, well, I would know. And no, I mean, look, a save is a save is a save. And this end of story, end of discussion. And I think nothing should really show how bored nothing goes to show how bored we truly are with this product than with cup racing. Then we had a day and a half long argument on Twitter about what constitutes a save and what doesn't constitute a save. If the car is not torn up, then it's a save. There's a saying where like pilots say like a good landing is one you can walk away from. A great landing is one that you can use the plane again. So I would apply that to a race car spinning out. A good spin out is one you can walk away from. A great one is one you can use the car again. So that was silly. Y'all are silly. That was a silly little conversation. Jimmy Johnson is still one of the greatest of all time, regardless of whatever he's doing right now. I hate that for him. But yeah, let's not try to like water it down or whatever, because I assure you could not. I assure you, of the current Cup field, one guy maybe could replicate the same thing. And it's
just not Cass Grella.
Oof, boy, howdy! I'm glad he walked away from that, but that was rough. Anyway,
it's like people are just so comfortable with disrespecting Jimmy Johnson all of a sudden. I don't understand that, but like I'm over it
because he's in the era of social media and he is past his prime.
Because I guarantee none of y'all are gonna go up to him and say it to his face. Or whoever that was the other day talking about, yeah, I'll do it. I don't care. No, you won't. And I guarantee you won't.
They probably still mad that bro went to the Yoders.
That's what it is.
That's one of the reasons.
I think it's that, and I also think like Jimmy Johnson like wasn't even like that revered and respected even when he was winning races.
Right.
I've said this before, and I know we're running the tape up, but like people that weren't around in that era, like 2006 or 2012, like people were saying like, we're witnessing history. You have to appreciate what Jimmy Johnson's doing. And I didn't appreciate it at all. I hated it. I hated him winning so much. 2012, we left Daytona and went to California, and he was negative points, and I was loving it. But I mean, looking back, like, he really did something that nobody is ever going to do ever again. And like, he deserved his flowers then and deserves them now. So he can go out and run 30th all week for the next 3 years, and it still doesn't negate what he's been able to do in his original, 12, 15, 16, 17 years of his Cup career. So anyway, that's all I got left for this show.
I do got something to say.
What's up?
Rest in peace to Georgina Dominican.
Oh exactly. My God.
I'm so confused.
The mannequin that fell.
Oh
my God.
I didn't watch the IndyCar race. I didn't know.
No,
I
saw it fall down.
If you watch anything, you gotta just go to that moment because the way it falls, like I was in tears.
Yeah, I didn't see it fall.
I was confused and laughing at the same time.
I needed a laugh today, and that was it. Like, because that race was stressing me out, and I was Thank you, Vontae. I needed that. That was hilarious.
You're welcome. Hey, that was my highlight of the day.
It was hilarious.
It really was. And then you got Scott taking a picture.
Yeah, Scott taking pictures with it. That was great. That was great.
Everybody was. So JT half owns an OOC IndyCar account. They was posting that all over today. It has me dying.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all make sure you turn into chicanery for the rest of this nonsense from the IndyCar weekend, because yikes.
I just know JT is gonna have a field day on that.
A field day. That mic will be burned up.
Oh yeah, I'm excited for it.
Well, with that, ladies and germs, you've witnessed another episode of Victory Lane Vibes. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the things. We love doing the content for you. This will be out sometime soonish. Yeah. Drop my music.
Oh no, you got a new theme.
You can't do it no more.
You can't do it.
You got to learn the new hum.
We should do. No, you know that one song that's going around all week.
Play my violins.
Baby. Anyway, all right. I'll see y'all later. I gotta go.
Play the violins.
Peace.
Do my music.
Stop the record.